Okay. Now let me see if we can. Oh, that was all too much too bright. Hold on. A little bit more like this. I think this is the best. This is the best I can. This is what you will have to tolerate when it comes to lighting and image and everything. But hopefully you are not here to see a polished YouTube studio, because this is not that. You will find that on other channels. Okay. Little front light, says the Donut King. You will not see a front light at 4:30 in the morning. I am not that mean to myself. I can't stand that early. It's just not. I can't. No, no. So it's going to be. It's going to have to be like this. And also, as Tor says here, it makes your beard look massive, which is always the look I'm going for. Okay, we have 106 people in the watching now, and lots of people in the chat. North Shore Preparedness is here. Says, I also don't have a polished YouTube channel. But you have a very good channel. It's the content that matters. Wolf, thanks for the super chat. Just got back from a local death metal concert in my area. Need some relaxation now. Skål. Well, I hope you enjoyed the concert. And thank you for the donation. Yeah, well, you can give me a super chat if you really want me to see your comment. That's how it works. YouTube has made it so that the super chats they will pop up so that I will see them on the side of the screen here. Okay. Valerie says I sound much better. Well, yeah, I had a cold. I think it was a cold. And I'm feeling better now. And yeah, but I'm going to talk about something I feel is quite important. And you know how it is here on this channel. I give you my thoughts. I share my thoughts on certain topics, and I like to look at things in a wider perspective, if you will. I might not be the one who will give you the latest news, because quite honestly, I don't care so much about the latest news. So I try to look at how things are progressing, what we might see in the future, and trends and things like that. And one thing I have noticed, and I'm sure you have noticed this as well, is that not only is mainstream media presenting their narrative in such a way that it is just giving you a part of the picture, but now they are just, it's a fantasy world. That's what they are presenting, and that's what they want you to believe in. And I'll give you an example of how what's the word, skewed, twisted, or wrong this whole thing has become. Robert, thanks for the super chat there. Uh, Robert says, I have a decision to make. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Just make sure that your decision is one that you can live with long term. But yeah, so I'll give you an example. And it has to do with the thing that seems to be affecting us all now. And I'll have to talk around it a little bit. But okay. The numbers here in Norway are presented in such a way that they are saying that if you had the Big Mac, the salad dressing, the poke, if you had that, you are much less likely to become infected with, I say the plague. You know what I mean when I say that. And if you haven't had it, you are more likely to catch it, and you're more likely to end up in hospital. So that's what they are saying. Now, I will, just for the sake of the argument here, I will say, I now I doubt that those numbers are even correct, okay? But for the sake of the argument, let's just say that those numbers are correct. What's missing in that equation? What's missing? I think that it takes a certain degree of intelligence to be able to instinctively understand what's missing in that equation. I'll just repeat it to you, okay? So they are saying, and for the sake of the argument, we'll just assume they are correct. I don't think they are, but let's just assume they are correct, that if you had the Big Mac salad dressing, you are much less likely to get infected and end up in hospital. So that in hospitals now, you will have some people who had the Big Mac, they have been infected, they are there. And there are more of those people than of the people who have been infected who didn't have the Big Mac, okay? But that's because so many more people have had the Big Mac. So, okay, you'll have to look at the proportion and the percentage of those two groups, okay? But still, something is missing, okay? And I hope you follow my train of thought here. What's missing? One number is missing, and I'll tell you which number. Do you have any idea there? The number missing in that equation is the people who are in hospital because of side effects. I'll split that word because of I don't want it to be picked up here. So if you take the numbers or the total number of people who are in hospital because of the side effects they had or are having because they had the Big Mac, the salad dressing, you will probably, not probably, I know this, you will find that the people who did not have the Big Mac, did not have the salad dressing, are much less likely to end up in hospital because they do have the risk of getting infected, but they do not have the risk, obviously, of getting side effects from the Big Mac. The people who had the Big Mac, they have a risk of getting infected. For the sake of the argument, we'll just say that risk is lower. I'm just saying for the sake of the argument, but you have to add an additional number there, and that's the number of people getting into hospital because of side effects. So this is one example of how mainstream media is leaving some parts out so that it will fit their agenda. Other parts are just plain lies. For instance, our new socialist government here in Norway, they are very eager to destroy the Norwegian wildlife and scenery and nature so that they can make room for wind turbines. And they are saying it's the green option. It's the environmentally friendly option. Now that's a lie. If you look at the numbers, they are lying. There is no truth in that at all. So they are making up stuff. And another example of how they are making up stuff is when you go to the USA. I don't know what to say. I feel sorry for you because you're not in a good state now at all. So you will find CNN and things like that. They are just lying. I think they are dishonest, and they know they are dishonest, and they don't care. Okay. Olivia, thanks for the donation. I can't read your comment, but thank you. I can't read it because of the censorship here. Corky Stock, thanks for the donation. I know, and that's another word I'll have to avoid. Ink is asking, what do you think of abortion? Well, I don't like abortion. I think we should do whatever we can to minimize the number of that number. It's not a good thing at all. And it traumatizes women. And sometimes the men as well. So now, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Okay. So I can just do what I want, like forever. Okay, then. That's good to know. Yeah, I have these phone calls with myself sometimes. I made a smartphone out of wood, and I have can recognize this handsome fellow here. That's me. And it says here, it's my name, and it's green pass, and it says Bjorn can do what he wants. And this is what I'm planning to use now that they are rolling out the green pass system here in Norway. That's, I think, in a week or so. Now, I don't plan to go to any of those venues that they are saying that they will be using this for, like restaurants and concerts and so on and so on. That's okay. That's okay. But what I think is going to happen is that they will instead of closing down businesses, they will say that, well, just use the app thing, the green pass. And if you do that, you won't have to close your business for customers. And slowly, maybe not that slowly, but this will spread, and we will have very soon a two-tier society, a papers, please kind of society. Now, I know some of you are already living in that kind of society, and I feel sorry for you. And I always knew we here in Norway, we were heading in that direction, and that's why I made my phone. I don't have a smartphone except this one. It is the smartest phone. It never disturbs me. And also, if you're in a survival situation, it will provide you with firewood. Can an iPhone do that? No. So, yeah. Brian Keith Prepper, thanks for the donation. That's scary. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Tanya, thanks for the donation. And I've said before, there's a way to get out of this. There's a way to solve this. Some of you, not you guys, no, sorry, some people will write in the comments that you're just talking. You're just sitting there and you're talking. You're not doing anything, are you? And then they will, oh, guns, 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 they will say, Now, those people, I sometimes wonder, what are they expecting me to do? First of all, how long, if I said anything that could be understood as me telling people to use violence, how long do you think that video would stay on YouTube, and how long do you think it would take before they removed my whole channel? That's one thing. Another thing, I mean, do you really think that's the way to do it? Are you ready to do that and deal with all the consequences? I don't think you are, because we're talking about going from what we have now to war. And war is not pretty. And I shake my head at those people who write that, because it's very immature. But what we can do, and what I have done, is to get rid of the smartphone. If we all got rid of a smartphone today, this two-tier society, it wouldn't work. It would be impossible to do all these changes to society if nobody had a smartphone. And then you could say, well, then they will say that you need to show your papers and so on. Yeah, but you see, it's the surveillance here. It's the surveillance, and it's the how they connect people through the through the smartphones. It's okay. I won't get. You know what I think about this. So and people will not get rid of their smartphones. So here we are. Here we are, making it really easy for the tyrants to implement this system. But okay. Olivia, thanks for the donation again. Here in the Seattle area, the ambulance sirens are going off nonstop. It's been like this for a while now, like months. I'm sorry to hear that. North Shore Preparedness says, put down the phones and it will take much power away from them. Exactly. Palestinian Findian said, I did. Wonderful. Um, and you know, it when I say that, I guess you all realize it hurts my business, right? Because most people, they watch my videos on their smartphone. But there are things that are more important than views and money, right? And this is one of those things. I still hope that you will, if you get rid of the smartphone, that you will watch my videos on your computer. Um, so yeah. So okay. Um, Now I was going to talk about. Hold on. Yeah. Now here's another thing. I believe that. Well, Matt, thanks for that awesome donation. It hurts your business here. I hope this will help. Well, thank you. It certainly will help. Absolutely. Thanks a lot. I will have to blow my nose. I'm sorry about that. I will move over to the side like this. I am sorry. Okay, so here's another thing. Again, I am sorry. Have you heard of or watched Scooby in 1961? No, I don't think so. But okay. People are getting ready to leave now. They are getting ready to maybe not physically leave, but to stay outside of the grid, so to speak. Um, and I have this feeling that it's the best people who will be leaving. It is the farmers, the artists, the free thinkers, people who think outside of the box, which are also the same people who will make things go forward for humanity. Those people will put themselves outside of this new society. So, what are they left with? What kind of people will they be left with? Generally speaking, they will be left with people who are very good at obeying, and the people who comply, the people who do as they're told. Those people are generally not innovators. Those people are generally not those people you need to have things moving in the right direction. And you know, there is actually an example from world history. There are several, but you know, World War II in Nazi Germany, you know, in the 30s, a good example of that. But an even more vast and profound change. You could see that in Now I'll try to. Yeah, well, I'll just use the words, and maybe they will. Yeah, do your worst, YouTube. Now, in the Muslim world, it's a world based on segregation. Now you can't refute that because it's a fact, you know, and it has led up through the centuries to a phenomenon where people who are innovators, free thinkers, artists, and so on are leaving. They are leaving because there is no way that they can, without risk for their own health and their lives, stay in such a society. They can't stay there. So they would generally leave, and you would be left with a society that didn't move forward. And that's quite evident, and that we can see the results of that today. Now, if it wasn't for oil, those countries would just be underdeveloped, all of them. And this is a phenomenon described by several historians, and there's a lesson to be learned there. We are moving into a segregation society now, and it doesn't really matter what on which terms you segregate people. It doesn't really matter. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Miles Doling, technology is not good or evil, it's just a tool. People need to rethink their relationship with technology. That's the root of the problem. Yeah, but here's the thing. As long as you keep carrying your smartphone around, you're helping this system. There is no way around that. That's just how it is. Fort Langford. When will my smartphone be on sale? Well, actually, I don't know. I haven't. I thought I would ask for a meeting with I don't know, Nokia or and maybe Apple, and sell them my concept. Uh, I don't know what they would say about that. Olivia, keep up with the solar flare activity. The sun is going through a hyperactive period that will peak 25, 26 and could take down a global technology quickly at any time. The sun will save us. Well, maybe, yeah, could. Karen, and thank you for the donation. And Karen, thank you for the donation as well. Calming comfort in the storm. I hope I am. Thank you for those kind words. So, did I miss any of the super chats? I think no. Okay. Yeah, I'll. Yeah, well, Glenn, with respect, I don't think people here are hiding, and yeah, but anyway. So okay, it's moving faster. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, Heavy D, been watching you from the beginning of your YouTube channel. This is the most depressed state I have seen you in. Hope you get a chance to cheer up and focus for a positive future. You need to understand that it's now 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have already been working. and I've written more than 1,000 words. You need to understand that as well. I live in Norway. Maybe you don't look so fresh in the middle of the night. I'm not depressed. I am. Um, oh, we have the troll, sir. That's what's happening. Tom H says, sorry, think you're just a lazy guy in a cabin. Well, I'm sorry about that, Tom. You really don't know anything about what you're talking about, do you? Oh, you should spend a day with me, Tom. Yeah, I think it would be very taxing on your system. Um, yeah, I find the trolls at this point. I think it's funny, but maybe maybe not so much for you guys. But it's interesting. I'll describe for you a typical day for me. Um, I have to get up early because I write best before anything else has happened. So this was a bit early for even for me. But I got up at 2:30 a.m., started writing, and then I started doing this live stream. Um, I do view being on YouTube as a job, and I need to provide my channels with some material. Also, I really like keeping in touch with you guys. Um, now, normally um, I work from home, and we have 9 buildings here, so there's quite a bit of work to do concerning that. I do some work on the property. I do some work around the house. I walk the dogs. I then normally do some weight training, um, and that's to keep myself healthy and to keep myself being able to work hard. And then I work on the videos normally in the afternoon. And then at that point, I have already been up for 12 to 14 hours. By at this time of the year, it's dark outside, not much to do outside, um, and I have other duties as well. I am a family father, so um, I I measured the steps. Number of steps in a typical day. It's around 10,000 steps in a typical day, which I understand is quite a lot. So, um, James is asking, what is some plain spoken and practical Viking wisdom you can impart on us this day? Well, make your own fortune, I would say. Um, and it's no matter who you are, where you are, your situation, you can make your own fortune. I truly believe that. Loki Sarcastic Monk. Welcome as a member to the channel. Okay. Um, um, so how are things in the chat here? It's a bit difficult to follow. I try to get rid of people who are disrespectful to you guys. If there is anything like that going on. No, I think we're okay. I will say um, I will say that at this point it's becoming incredibly important to stay active, physically active, to stay healthy, which when it comes to diet, you know what I think about that, and um, you have to take responsibility for your health now. One reason is that if you become sick now, the hospitals are pretty much full. That's the situation in Norway, at least. Um, and also for your own happiness and well-being, I believe we should spend more time outside. Yes, even in winter, especially during winter. I think we become soft if we spend too much time inside and get enough healthy food, enough of it. Many people, they eat too not enough of the food that they need, and they eat too much of the food that they don't need. Okay. Um, Miss Tenacious T, thanks for the donation. Good morning. As a writer, what do you see? What do you see the role of storytellers during these challenging times? How can we best serve? Well, that's we should comment on what's happening. We should voice our opinion on what's happening. We don't see a lot of that, and the reason is mainly that the publishing houses, they don't dare go against the narrative. They don't dare publish authors that go against the narrative. But we should at least speak up and do our best to make people think twice, you know. Peter Lake, howdy. Well, howdy to you, Peter. Olivia, yeah, a certain sociopath has spoken of a surprise we would really pay attention to later this winter. Made him and Melinda smile. Yeah, well, when those people smile, I don't smile. Something wicked is on its way. Something wicked this way comes. Certainly. Um, yeah, Tara says, I wish Bill would move to Mars. I wish we could send him to Mars. That's um, yeah, yeah. The chat is moving fast, but that's a good thing. It means that people are joining the chat and joining this community. North Shore Preparedness. Check out North Shore's channel. He's in Canada, which is a challenge at the way things are in Canada now. Naruto Uzumaki. Um, to me, that sounds Japanese. Are you in Japan? Japan. Um, any advice for young people? Well, young people are, believe it or not, they have the potential just because of the physiology to be very intelligent. So look at the numbers. Don't believe what Naruto Uzumaki says. I'm American. Okay. Um, Look at the numbers, look at what's really going on. Um, Stay away from unhealthy stuff. I mean, but mentally and physically also as well, but certainly, well, especially mentally now. Mainstream media is unhealthy at this point. It's very unhealthy. It's because it's so negative. It's scaremongering. Um, TL, well, thanks for the donation, and that's very kind of you, all the way from Minnesota. Genevieve, thanks for the donation. Um, and Yeah, Laura Lindsay says Naruto grow food. Yeah, you can do that even in an apartment, and you might not be self-sustained with food, of course, but it does something to your mindset. It tells you that you can do something about your own situation, which is which really sets you apart from other people, because most people, they they have put themselves in a situation where they need to be fed, looked after, and cared for by the state, which is not a good position to be in, because it makes you dependent on the state. Naruto says, never trust the mainstream media, it's borderline evil. Yeah. Um, okay. I think also, let me just let me just, because we're talking about young people here a little bit now, and let me just add this, and this is just an idea. I don't know anything about this, really. I don't know how young people get together these days, but um, there must certainly be young people out there who do not want any physical contact with those who have not had the Big Mac salad dressing. Salad dressing, I got that from your North Shore, by the way. And there will be people who have not had the Big Mac, who don't want to have any physical contact, or and certainly not any intimate contact with those who have had it. So I think that what we are going to see is that couples will establish themselves within those two groups, not so much across the groups. I don't know if I'm correct, but it's at least an idea to entertain, and I, I would love to hear what you think. Um, and people are doing that, and dating just got way harder. KN, I am sorry to hear that. Last time I was around people who had the Big Mac, I had to go to hospital for heart issues. I can tell you my story. That sounded dramatic. It's not nothing like that, but this cold here was a little bit odd. I can tell you that, and I got it 2 days after I was at a birthday party for my niece, and there were lots of old people there, and they all have had double Big Mac, you know. And I felt when I was sitting there by the table, I felt a very. It was like if you close the windows and don't open them for a long time, the air gets a little bit. What's the word? You know what I'm talking about. And it was like that. That feeling. Um, it was a little bit difficult to breathe, I felt. And 2 days later, I got a cold. I haven't had a cold for 2 years now. More than 2 years, almost 3 years, actually, I think. And I got a very high fever. Well, I don't know, but I had this strange dreams and I was sweating and felt terrible for a couple of days. And then it was much like, you know, a common cold. Um, but I just wonder if something happened there. I got something that my system needed to fight off, you know. I don't know. I I I prefer when I don't know 100%. I I will say that I think I don't know. We shouldn't jump to conclusions, you know. So, but I just wanted to, you know, share that with you, and I will not do that again. I will not go to a gathering of people like that again. Um, that creates even more segregation because I know I'm not the only one who think that way. But you know, it could also be a common cold, just a common cold, because my son had a common cold from school, which is very normal at this time of the year. Maybe I got it from him, and you know, so I don't want to conclude with anything. Don't want to conclude with anything because I don't know. Um, okay, we need to be careful, and I'm going to say this a lot. I have said it before, and I'm going to say it again. We need to be very, very careful not to be saying things that we don't know. There is a huge difference of having a feeling about something, thinking that this might be right, and knowing. Because about most of these things, we don't know. Okay. When you have the numbers, you have the statistics, you can actually say that I know this, but unless you do, you don't know for sure. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah, I had a conversation with a scientist on the problem of being near people who are breathing out pointy proteins, so to speak. And what he said is that, yeah, you can get a reaction. It will not harm you because it's produced inside another organism and it's not. Yeah, I can't. I don't know in English the right words here, but according to him, you cannot become permanently damaged from that. The person who had these things injected can become permanently damaged, but it doesn't jump from one person to another like that. At least that's what he said, and he works in that field. Something like that. Bringer of change. It's not able to affect the genetics. Not if the person next to you, if this thing jumps to you, it can't affect your genetics because it was spawned in that person. Okay, yeah. The prepared mother. I finally made it to a live stream. Well, welcome. Olivia, do you believe evil spirits are behind the Big Mac? Like spirits of greed and mind control empowering the transhumanists. I try not to think about it. I try not to complicate things too much. Uh, Greed and lust for power explains enough for me, there could be other things involved here, but that in itself is certainly enough to make people do terrible things. How do you know, mate? It could have some effect. Well, what can I do? I already told you I will not be in a situation like that again, but I can't do anything about that now. And I don't look back. That's something I have learned. I do not look back, and I feel well now. And yeah, okay. And I'm not going to have people telling me this or that. So, but anyway, again, Karen, yeah, exactly. Thanks for the donation. Why aren't they losing their jobs also? Yeah. Okay, so I know Norway is a bit late to the party here, but I will not comply when it comes to the two-tier society, the papers, please society. And if you have joined this live stream now, have you seen my smartphone? It's my smartphone. I made it myself out of a piece of wood. It's the only smartphone I have, and that's me. I have this hat that my wife hates, and I'm smiling, and it says here my name. It's a green pass, and it says Bjorn can do what he wants. And this is what I'm going to use if they are asking for my green pass. So it's my way of showing that I do not respect this new system at all. And I hope more people will do like me. And I suspect that very few people will do like me, but that's just how it is. It is easier for me, I know, because I'm not employed anywhere. I'm my own boss, and I'm certainly not going to implement rules showing this to myself. um, so it's easy for me because I can't be fired, um, and I know it must be difficult, and your sacrifice is higher, or you have to pay a higher price for your independence and your bodily integrity if you are losing your job. But people have been asking me, I don't know why they ask me, but people have been asking me about what I think they should do. They are telling me, I'm about to lose my job. What can I do? And honestly, my response is I cannot tell you what's right for you. But if you really push me, I will say, quit your job or let them fire you. And why am I saying that? Well, I know it's easy for me to say, but again, you lose so much more if you lose your bodily integrity. You're going to lose anyway. So you have to choose the option that minimizes your losses. What do you RT Deland is asking, what do you think about spirituality? Are you a spiritual or religious person? I would say yes. Yes, I am. Okay. I'll have to. Okay. Stop the chat for a little while. Oh, here. Okay. Jennifer, I like it. West, thanks for the donation. Made it to your live. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining. And if I'm John Bon Zombie is asking if I'm following the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Not really. And to be honest with you, I don't know enough about guns to have an educated opinion about the details. Now, generally speaking, I would say that again, I don't know that I do not know that case. I don't know what happened there. But and I've said this before, I believe that we should all have the right to defend ourselves and also not only defend ourselves, but to defend our property. Okay. Yeah, and one thing about that case that I have, that I do know about is this new principle uh, where you have a court case and outside of the courthouse, people are standing waiting and they are putting pressure on the legal system because if they don't get it their way, they will riot. Now, when you have something like that, you are putting the entire legal system under threat. And the concept of a fair trial is no longer there. And it's like, do you really want that? These people, I sometimes I look at these people and it's like, do you want that? Because what you say, and this is something that provokes me a lot. What they are saying is that they want mob rule. And they will burn down the town, the city, if they don't get their way. And my response to that is, okay, we can have mob rule if that's what you want. Let's do that. Let's use that system instead. But I promise you, the first thing I would do is to gather a bunch of good people and we would just eradicate, level the whole area of people like that. people who would be making trouble in this violent anarchy. We would be ruthless. Are you sure you want that? Because these people, they do not strike me as warlord material, and they are essentially, they are saying that they want a violent kind of anarchy. So it's like either you have to respect our current system, which I think we should, because it is better than a violent anarchy. So because we can't have some hybrid. We can't have a hybrid between those two systems. Either you respect the legal system, or you have anarchy. So you have to choose, And if you're saying that we're going to riot if we don't get it our way, sorry, you'd already made that choice. I mean, yeah. It's well, thanks a lot there, but yeah, exactly. White feminist. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against women's rights, but it's that kind of a certain kind of people. I know what you mean. They would not last in a system like that. Well, we know this because we do have violent anarchies in some parts of the world. It's brutal. It's horrible. There are no women's rights whatsoever. Um, and these people who take power, they kill hundreds, thousands of people just as a precaution. You know, we do not want to go there. We want to preserve this civilization with all its flaws, but at least it's better than that. You know. So yeah. Um, Mary, I am sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. We are going to see a lot of that. We're going to see a lot of that. And here's what I think. It's all up to each and every one of us now. We need to get healthy, stay healthy, and have a mindset and a lifestyle that keeps us healthy. Now, I'm 49, so I constantly have to work on this, because if I sit down and I eat rubbish, and if I'm not active physically, it will take only a couple of weeks and my immune system would be greatly reduced. So we have to work on this. It's our responsibility, and especially I would say if you are a parent, you're responsible for your kids, you have to work on this. It's not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse. I'm sorry to say this. This is one thing I think. I don't know, but I'm quite certain about it. And at the end of the day, you can't protect yourself entirely against what's coming. You can make your fortress stronger, so to speak. And by fortress, I mean your body. You can make it stronger, more resilient. And there is a lot you can do. There's a lot you can do. Okay. Well, Nick, thanks for the donation, and thank you for spending some time with us here. Crystal, thanks a lot. And Crystal is is writing, thank you for helping those of us not feel alone in this. I hope I do, you know. And let me just say, this is not a, a conflict between the people who had the Big Mac and those who haven't had the Big Mac. It's a conflict between those of us who understand concept like freedom of choice, bodily integrity, freedom of speech, and those who support this system that we are witnessing now being implemented. It's a very different system from what we had up until recently in our part of the world. It's a very different system. There is no freedom of speech, there is no bodily integrity, there is no freedom of movement. And we need to fight this. We need to do what we can to, first of all, be independent and be able to put ourselves outside of that system. Joshua, thanks a lot for the donation. CJ, thank you as well. That's an awesome donation. Thank you. Yeah, I actually don't think it has much to do with guns. I don't think this battle can be won by guns. I think it can be won first and foremost by getting rid of the surveillance tracking devices that you carry on your body and putting yourself outside of this system. But yeah, of course, I do understand that if it comes to that, you know, you can't fight with sticks and stones, you know. But we're not talking about that now, and I will probably never talk about that here on YouTube because of YouTube's policy. So yeah, and also as Chuck here is writing, guns won't win against drones and satellites anyways. It's about being able to get off grid as you can when you need to. Yes, yes. Leon says, I'm going to make a protein shake. I'll be back in a second. Yes. Okay. And for those who wonder, I'm not using a smartphone now. I'm using my laptop computer. um, so let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, I can tell you one thing about Norway. Oh, you will love this. You will love this. The new governments. Well, we had a conservative government for 8 years, and then we had the election. And by the way, the thing where they said, you know, we are we don't. They said that we're not going to have any. They dropped all the restrictions. That's what they said. That was because they didn't want to be remembered, the last government, as not being able to bring society back into a normal. I'm doing this with my fingers. Normal state. And then they knew, of course, that the new government, which is a socialist government, they would have to implement those restrictions again. This time it will be in the form of a green pass, but I have my own. I made my own. Where only the people who had, you know, the thing will be allowed into. We don't know yet, but restaurants, certainly sports events, and they're talking about the Christmas parties. You'll have to use your app to attend your Christmas party, a Christmas party. Hopefully not the Christmas party in your own house, but what I wanted to just mention is that they are increasing the taxes. And I spoke with someone yesterday, and they are saying that they are planning to move out of Norway now because we already have a very high level of taxes in Norway. Now, I mean, I work a lot, and I feel that I deserve to have a high income. I'm very open about this. I have a high income, but I pay 50% tax on most of my income. They're talking about now increasing that to 60%. And that's because the socialist left, it's actually a party in Norway called the socialist left. They are not part of the government, but the government is consisting of two parties, and they need the support of the socialist left in order to have a majority. 60% taxes. Why would I bother working so that when I have to pay 60% taxes? Why? And many people are thinking like that. That's what happens, People won't bother anymore. Why? Why would they? Now, CJ says, thanks for the donation. There is no more left and right. There is only those who know freedom and those who are ignorant to slavery. Yes, absolutely. And the idea is that, well, they shall tax the rich so that and give the money to the poor. If they only did. That's not what they're doing. So for me, I think that proportion would lead to about, was it about 300,000? Let's see now. I'm trying to recalculate. 30, an increase in taxes of almost $30,000 per year. That's the increase on top of what I already have. And the tax release for those with a lower income would be between 200 and 400 US dollars. Am I the only one who sees the insanity here? Okay. Will 1776. Yeah, 1776. Exactly. From Oklahoma, first live stream. Well, thank you for those kind words. Blessings upon you and your fans here. Thanks a lot. The amount, spirit, the amount some of these European countries pay in taxes is rich paid with gold. Yeah, they are not. They are sending quite a lot of those taxes outside to help developing countries, and some of the dictators there are certainly in their palaces. They are the floors are paved with gold, I guess. Hmm. Glenn, what do you mean? The only insanity is that you keep wondering about it. You are being very kind to me now. um, what happens is that you don't bother anymore. Now, I am already fortunate in that way that I love my work. I love writing, which is my main job, you know, and I love making videos. So I will keep doing that. But if I, at this point, if I did not have a job that I love, I would stop working this much. I wouldn't see a reason to work this much. So, um, yeah. Now, okay, Meng John Lee says, if you do this to the rich, money will eventually run out completely. Yes, that's correct. The politicians need to be removed or spend less on useless things. Exactly. And what people with money tend to do is that they move. They move away from those countries. I'm actually considering dissolving one of my companies now before this crazy new tax system takes are put into place. So that's I'm not the only one considering doing that, and when lots of people do that, you get that's not good for the economy. But anyway, um, are there trolls there? Let's see. Are there trolls here? Moving really fast now. Okay. What about B Savage is asking, what about the elderly and disabled who have no choice but get aid to survive? Who's going to help them? I think we all have a duty to help people in that situation. So when you in your plans for going off grid, you should also have plans to be able to help people who are less fortunate than you. Some people say, well, I can't do that, I won't do that. But I think it's for most decent people, it will be very, very hard to turn those in real need away. It will be very hard because we are not heartless, most of us. So, yeah. Any thoughts on the new surveillance rules and bank accounts? Well, Robin Olsen, well, thanks for the donation. I don't like it. Um, I don't like it at all. That's my thoughts on that. Yeah, we can all do something to help those who are less fortunate. And I think that the danger that we all face here is that we become less caring. And I have felt this myself. I've felt this myself. It's like you've just had enough. At the end of the day, you just had enough. You just want to close your gate and leave people out there, and you don't want to have anything to do with anyone. And to be honest with you, that's the option that I tend to choose. Um, and it's, that's what happens. Good people will just walk away, and good people will not be there for those who need them. And I'm properly sick and tired of this society. I'm properly sick and tired of everything. And I made a video on my main channel about that. And that's how I feel. So you have to fend for yourself first, and then yourself and your family. And you can't walk around and be helping everyone. It's just impossible. Um, if the military, I saw Nightwind is asking, do you think the Norwegian military could intervene and dispose the government? Not at all. Not at all. The Norwegian military is not. It's very much a part of the establishment. Um, well, thank you. Amelia is saying our ancestors are calling us for sure. And under there, have you been to St. Petersburg? Yes, I have. I really like that place. Nancy is saying, I miss seeing you canoeing with the dogs to that undisclosed island. I will be canoeing again out there. Um, I bought actually a new lavvo, a big lavvo, and it has a separate room, so to speak, with a bug netting that enables me to keep my dogs in there and have a stove. It's safer. Um, it's so because the dogs could, I don't want them to burn themselves on the stove. So yeah, I will probably be there in a few days. I had plans ready, but then I got this cold and I had to wait. Olivia, thanks again for the donation. Olivia says the saddest sight of all possibly is the portion of society that knows, yes, that knows all the poke's dangers, but take it them because they do not really value themselves. Yeah, Olivia, thanks for bringing this up because this is something I have noticed. It's this very disturbing trend where you see people being very open about knowing the risk, at least that's what they say, of side effects, but they still do it because they believe that even though they might be young, fit, healthy, they still believe that they are better off taking the Big Mac. That's what they're saying, but I think maybe it's a little bit more like they are complying. and they are lying to themselves. Afroshinix, thanks for the donation. How many outfits do you have for your dogs? Quite a few. We don't buy outfits for our dogs just because it's fun. It's either for protection against the rain or the cold or for impact when they run. Sometimes we put some clothes on them so that they will not scratch themselves on the twigs and things outside. Okay. So I see some of the comments that are being censored. It's interesting because you can kind of see a trend which words are censored now. It used to be only rude words, you know. So CS, your comment there was censored. I can make it so that it will show, but I think it will just be removed again. Jack, thanks for the donation. Greetings from America. My wife and I love hearing you speak. Please remember you are not alone in all this. Well, that's good to know. Thank you for that. At this point, I would say that now, and this might come across as a little bit stupid and stubborn, but let's say, and this is, I'm not saying it is like this, but let's say just for the sake of the argument that some evidence surfaced that this Big Mac was entirely safe. Now we know it's not, but again, try to follow my thoughts here. Let's say that just for the sake of the argument, it's entirely safe. It will protect you, and this plague is very dangerous. At this point, I would still not take it because I'm so stubborn. I'm so stubborn that just because of how the establishment and big pharma and so on have acted up until this, I will not comply. No way. It's it's just not going to happen ever, no matter what, you know. If, on the other hand, they had taken a different approach and they had said, well, this is what we know, if they had been completely honest from the start, and then evidence surfaced that this plague is very dangerous, this Big Mac is entirely safe and it will protect you, and so on and so on. I'm again, for the sake of the argument, then I would have considered it. But because they've been dishonest from the start, and they've tried with force and to force people and coercing people into doing this, just because of that, I would not have done it, because I would never do it, because it's the principle of the whole thing, you know. And this is something that I think was very unwise of them. But maybe it was, they knew how this would turn out, how this would play out, and they just had to push as much as this onto us as possible, as quickly as they could, because they know it's going to be very ugly very soon. So, and of course, we know that this plague is not at all as contagious or dangerous or anything like that as they are making it appear in mainstream media. We know about the devastating side effects. We know it's ineffective when it comes to stopping the spread and so on and so on. So it really is a you shouldn't you, you should make your decision, okay? But for me, it's not a difficult decision to make. I just want to say that. Um, yes, Troy McCulley says, "Dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery to the day I die." Yeah, exactly. And like there's a good way to go and there's a bad way to go. When go, I mean leaving this life. Just I don't want to get into that at all, but there's for especially for a Norse heathen like myself, how you are remembered is extremely important. Extremely important. So, yeah. Bringer of Change says, Troy, danger is more exciting, anyways. We only live once. Yes. North Shore Preparedness says, I'm enjoying this stream. Well, thank you for saying that. Some of these nicknames, I forgot my glasses in the house, but Hexproof Anarchist. Thanks for the donation there. Um, Where would you go? JP is asking, where would you go if you left Norway? Well, that used to be a very. I always enjoyed answering that question because I used to, the world was bigger in a way because we could travel. And so I always said I would go to America. I would not go to America now. Maybe if you get a new, if you can change out the people running the show there, you need to do that. I know it's not your fault. Most of you probably didn't vote for those people anyway, but I couldn't go there now. Not possible. It's crazy. Canada, the same. And the USA and Canada, I always wanted to go there. I've been to the USA, not the parts I wanted to go to, because I've been there in business. But in Canada as well, I really want to go to Canada. I wanted to go back to Russia. I wanted to go to many places, but especially North America. Yeah, especially Alaska. Yeah, Scotland. I really want to go back to Scotland. I've been to Scotland 4 or 5 times, and I want to go to England, back to England again. And I know my kids, they remember our last vacation outside of Norway. That was in England. So I want to go to England, but we can't. We can't. CS is asking, where's everyone located and where would everyone choose to go choose to move to before the big C. France, would France be good for survival? I don't know. Um, it's very populated. Oh yeah, King Charles and those people. Yeah, I don't support the royal family or any royal family. I certainly do not support the Norwegian royal family. They are not really Norwegian, if you look into that. But um, yeah, I want to go to Japan. Are you in there, Sharinga? Are you in Japan? Um, I want to go to Brazil as well. Yeah, Linda, I'm sorry to hear that about your mother. My condolences. Yeah, well, um, okay. Lots of people from many parts of the world here actually. Um, yeah, okay. So, but actually, Norway is not a bad place to be, especially when things are as they are, because Norway has a lot of wilderness, and it also has a lot of coastline. So it's practically impossible physically. It's not possible to keep you locked inside of Norway. If it comes to that, you could set sail. You could start walking, hiking. People have done that before. You could cross the border to Sweden, to Finland, to Russia, and nobody would know. How do I know that? Well, don't ask. Okay. Um, yeah, well, I'm seeing this thing about the special bracelet in France. I didn't know that actually. I'm I kind of know how this will go down because I'm extremely unable. Totally unable to obey and to follow rules. I don't do that. And I will tell you that there are certain places, certain things where I will go out of my way to break the rules. And that's odd for many people. Why would you do that? For instance, there's a stretch of road not far from here, and you can only drive there if you have a passenger in your car. I will always drive there if I don't have a passenger in my car. I will change lanes to drive there just to break those rules. That's odd for many people. Many people think it's odd. But when they start, I know this will be ugly because I have not been stopped anywhere by people saying you can't enter because you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to so on and so on. I think it will be ugly. I don't know how I will react because I haven't been in that situation, but I will not wear a bracelet. I said from the start, and this puzzles many people, but I can wear a mask, and I have done that. I I think that's kind of okay. I can do that. Um, and I think actually, I think that we probably will have to in the future, not the cloth masks and that rubbish there, but things that actually work. Now, this is a hunch. I don't know this, but I think that we will very soon have to protect ourselves. Now, I won't get into why here on YouTube, but yeah, that's what I think. Okay. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, and also yes, I'm not wearing a mask just because someone tells me to. I will wear it if I find it useful. I will not be told to wear a mask. I will wear a mask wherever I find it useful. But anyway, it's are we having trolls or beer rosa Bjorn to be child? I don't know what you mean by that. Um, yeah, yeah. Knocking on doors, asking if you had a Big Mac. They should try that here. I don't know again how I would react to that. Um, okay. Now let's see here. Let's see. Julian says, "What will you do when 6 or more cops turn up at your door to force you to take the Big Mac?" Now, I don't think that's going to happen because they don't have to do that. They will rather starve you, but or try. Let them try. But no, but you need to. That's why I say, you need to as if you want to call yourself a prepper, you need to be able to move, get out of, and just relocate quickly, which is, I feel, the weakness in many preppers' plans, or that they don't have any plans for that at all. Um, you, you would be wise not to be there, and you would be wise to be able to predict that, to see that coming and move before they are at your door. Um, okay. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day or night or whatever. 1 hour 45 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I'll probably try to get some sleep before I continue with my day. It is now 19 minutes past 6 in the morning here in Norway. And stay safe out there. Stay strong. And thank you for joining the chat. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for the super chats. And yeah, you are all great, and you will do well in what's coming. I have a good feeling. Okay. Have a nice day. We'll talk later. Bye.